Welcome. I am the teacher. I felt compelled to do a part two of breaking down the number six. I try to keep my videos within a 30-minute time limit, so I just felt I need to speak on the yet incomplete aspect of it, because when you hear something says it got sort of like a dual meaning, complete yet incomplete. It's like I mentioned in part one, where when you become a woman or you become a man, you are in a completed state. But now it depends on what you do in the next three phases when you're dealing with the seven, the eight, or the nine. When you're dealing with the frequency of the one, the order of things. So our decisions that we make shapes us. And if we're going to have a true and an honorable journey, we have to face things that sometimes is tremendously difficult for us. So, it's, the journey must continue regardless. So when you look here, I got the three codes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9. And the circumference of each code is 96. I showed you an example of it here. And one, if you watched the Patterns of Life video, out there, I go into this. So if you follow the videos as you should, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So each of this circumference is 96. And I referenced the 96 surah of the Holy Quran is the clock. Within the clocked, not clock, clocked. So in the base of the code is 45. So 45, 3, 135 equals 9. So it is a completion. Of course, all the numbers eat up to 9 when you put them in sync. But the circumference is 96, which is 6. I'm going to speak a little bit on Revelation 5, Revelation 13, 8. So, on the incomplete part of the number 6 is you come into full awareness if you are, seeking the one. What I mean by that, our five senses, is how we truly learn about life, and how our senses respond to our environment says a lot about our decision making. So when you're dealing with the sixth sense of awareness, when you start learning how to perceive or see an action and where that action may lead you, and you still decide to do that action, etc., now you are building and you're using your mathematical theology. You are using your math to build what you want to bring in to manifestation. So when your life is in chaos, and if you are seeking to one, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? And how did you end up here? And that's what we need to understand about the number 6. You are complete in physical development. You are used to learning via your senses, but now your decisions are extra critical because you are a dangerous person at the number 6. What I mean by this is that
You were created in 6 periods or 6 days. I like to use the term 6 periods. But in each of the story, your commitment to the universe was questioned. So in the Holy Quran, he says, the one says, I'm going to place a ruler in the earth. And the questions and the angels questions the one to say, why are you going to create something that's going to cause bloodshed and mischief? And the one responds to say, surely I know what you know not. In the Bible, when he says, let us make man after our image, after our likeness, we know about that story. How the disobedience, tampering with the tree of life, what that led them to. And not only that, after that, the offspring murdered one. Disobedience of that decision led to knowledge and information they wasn't properly prepared for. So you become aware of things when you're starting to think on your own, when you realize that you are unlimited. What is truly in your heart? You know, in the story of Adam and Eve, they were alone. They felt like it was just them. You know, well, okay, this is all fine and dandy. We done define everything. We have our languages, et cetera, but what about X, Y, Z? And why did the serpent make that suggestion to Eve? And why did it choose to tamper with what man or the offspring will come out of? So there's a lot in the number 6. And when I talk about the number 7, I would try to wrap it up as I go through these. But like I mentioned in part 1, it's all about us. The mathematics is all about us. You know, we have the one in us. So it can't be nothing but us. We are not individual. The one unites us all, and all life works in the harmony of the one. So, that being said, in Revelations 5, they are trying to figure out how they're going to go against this beast. And the seal, they talk about the 7 seals and who can break the seal. And the seal is the 96 that is sealed the circumference of man. The 24 elders, as mentioned in Revelations, they've been writing history every 25,000 years, all the way down to the point where your environment and how your neutrons and your biological response to the environment, it is so down to the ladder, it makes you wonder, do you even have free will? Well, they can only see 15,000 years instead of the 25,000 year cycle. They had to put their pens down because Satan has changed the order of things. He has created an external world that has engulfed man. And they were trying to think about, how do we break this seal? And in the scriptures, they talk about the lamb appeared as though he had been slain from a womb. But he came and took the book out of the elder that was sitting on the throne. And he said, I can break the seal. So we are living in the time of the Son of Man. You understand? The whole dynamic of learning about the one is to bring a true woman and a true man together. Because it's not the Son of God that makes all things new. It is the Son of Man. And why he is mentioned as the Son of Man, because that is the seal of the original beginning, that when we fulfill our image and our likeness, the offspring takes us into all things new. So in Revelation 13, verse 18, it says, let him with understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, 666. So basically, man was created, you see it, 6 periods. 666 is right there. Look at the code. Your circumference is 666. Now, if you add the 45 and the 96 together, you get 141. I think I mentioned that on the first one. You are still a 6. The whole teachings that you have to be reborn is because that's how you start breaking the seal and coming to a universal understanding. Because I mentioned previously that the universe is 12 base. Our mathematics is 10 base. Yeah, I will get into that, but just follow the math. Follow the patterns of life. Look at the codes. The lessons that I put out there, just continue to study. If we do not study and work the mathematics, you're not going to create the karma or the gravity to bring the matter together so you can see the truth. So, real quick, modern day scientists does not even know what gravity is, but they know it's there by observation how matter works and how it pulls matter together to create what we eventually see, what is manifest, etc., etc. They can't explain it, but it's there. We use the term as far as karma. What you put out eventually comes around into the cycles of life. What you put out there, you think you're getting away with it, but it will eventually appear because you are creating something. In the computer world, they got a thing they call algorithm, where it pulls all the data and how the software learns and how it interprets the cultural dynamics of it all. So a lot of us think that we are walking around coming up with our own decisions, but we don't realize that there is in the external world an algorithm that is feeding you nonsense. And you speak in a language of noise. All of man's language is noise. It's chaos. Some words mean more than has a different meaning. Like if I use the word glasses, I mean, are you talking about glasses you drink of or glasses you wear? You have to be there. The indigenous people of all continents eventually, their words, you had to be there, present, to fully understand. You had to be in their social and cultural dynamics to fully understand. It wasn't a words that we can put or a sound that we can put, because how the harmony flowed, they knew how to speak because they lived basically on a frequency that united that language, that experience. That's a lost art. But in a sense, they had their algorithm, or they had their cultural and social dynamics. People call it primitive if you don't have a form of writing. But whenever you are writing, then you are creating a spell. And that leads to a whole lot, even more so, chaos. Look at the external world and observe it. You're going to see people doing good. You're going to see people doing bad. You're going to see people doing absolutely nothing. You're going to see all these causes and effect. You're going to see temporary remedies, but it's one thing you will never see in the external world. And that's the truth. Or unless you want to say the truth is, it's chaotic. So Satan wants you to believe in him. So in other words, in Revelation, it says that we will not be able to buy or sell. Everything is done by the way of Satan. We will have the mark of the beast on us. Well, what do you call yourself? The world, people all over the world identify themselves with their continent. People are called Japanese, Chinese, Africans. Some people call themselves African Americans. Some people call themselves Americans. And then they break it down. Okay, I'm Irish. I'm all this. You ain't none of that. In truth, you life. Now, out of all these that the external world names themselves, what is the one thing that can truly unite all humanity if they identify themselves with the truth? What is that? Satan don't want to give you that. Satan ain't going to give you the truth. Because you can name all these people, you can look at them, male, female, genders, and all this kind of stuff. You life. And in mathematics, the language of life is mathematics. That's why when I'm speaking, I'm showing you the math. It's no use of looking at me. Just look at the math. Visualize that math and know where math takes you. You can always check the math. If you work the math, you're giving people freedom, justice, and equality. And you're giving, you're not sharing. See, sharing is one thing that Satan would do. He would say, well, I'm willing to share with you. I have food. I can give some to you, but I have to have some for myself. Oh, well, you can borrow my car. You can do this. You can do this. Oh, I can loan you some money. But when you pay me back, since I had to give you that money, I had plans for it. I'm going to put a little interest on it so I can make sure that I'm good, etc., 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 etc. That math doesn't work like that. When you present the one with a question, you get the answer. And it's given. It's not shared, it's given. In mathematics, you can build on your own. And as long as you build it in life and for the benefit of life, that's a beautiful thing. Why would the one create a life form in his image and his likeness, unlimited potential to secure the fullness of understanding? I hear people say, well, I want to overstand. You don't want to overdo anything. Under is always saying that the truth is ahead of you. It's static. How can you be over the truth? You don't want to overstand anything. That's killing the purpose. Actually, you're making it just as handicapped. Understanding is a sense of submission. Because the one has set this all in motion. So, as we grow, you have to keep yourself humble. You have to feel that harmony of the one. You have to look at this gift of life that God has given you. And you have to take it in and see how beautiful and marvelous that gift is. You have to create that harmony, and you do that by mathematics. You look at the external world, you see it's all about individuality. It's not about unity. People are fighting and killing one another because they see life should be lived differently. But in mathematics, you're always going to get freedom, justice, and equality. Satan doesn't want to give you that. Satan wants you to think that, hey, you're an individual. Bring your individual skills and let's put a team together and let's work in harmony with that. And that is not harmony. If you're starting off thinking you're an individual, the result will be an individual. You think, well, I'm born by myself, but ain't nothing about you is born by yourself. As the Quran says, the one was in the womb with you. When were you by yourself? Huh? The body was prepared for you to grow in. Your mother and your father is the body, it's their body that you walking in. Your personality and stuff grew in something that was provided for you. What about your heart? What about your social and cultural environment? It ain't nothing individual about that. Look at all the cells that are in your body. Look at the organs, the things that we call organs in the blood. It's more than things that are working. Think about all the neutrons that is flowing through your body. Think about the frequency that's within your heart, the harmony that you eventually seek. Ain't nothing in the individual about you. It's always a unit. Life continues because life is everywhere. It's in everything you see, everything you do. Every time we breathe in life. Our last breath that we take leaving this physical world is life. Satan cannot give you the truth, because if he gives you the truth, then you're going to recognize that God that is within. So look within. Every time people start talking about God, they look up in the sky. Look within. Because what's ever up there or around there or down there, it is within you. Because remember, we were created in God's image. The idea that God had, that's you and I. And if you honor the gift, and if you honor the opportunity to seek that one, we will go into the understanding of the Son of Man. And from 6, we will go to 7. From 7, we will go to 8. From 8, we will go into the completed state. And the one will give us a 0 to make all things new. On that note, once again, it is the one that we should seek. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Thank you for listening.